Oh, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Let me first of all introduce myself. My name is Amin. I am the CEO and also the co-founder of POPCONfest. POPCON stands for Popular Content. And for those of you who are very new with us, right, in the last 2 years, POPCON has been helping service-based entrepreneurs and also business owners just like you to build your authority and influence on LinkedIn. Why authority building? Because in POPCON, we believe that when you have built your authority, right, and when you are seen as the subject matter expert within your industry, it can really help you to generate more leads and also business opportunity for your business. In today's training, I'm going to be talking about sales, guys. I'm going to be talking about what are some of the mistakes that I've noticed that people make on LinkedIn when it comes to generating leads, when it comes to prospecting, when it comes to trying to get the sales on LinkedIn. So this is something that I'm going to be talking with you guys about tonight. LinkedIn for me is amazing. For those of you who are not on LinkedIn yet, I would definitely suggest that you guys should explore LinkedIn. Why we decided to be on LinkedIn? Because in comparison with a lot of the other social network platform out there or social media platform out there, LinkedIn at the end of the day is one of the world's largest professional networking platform. This is where the largest number of professionals gather to stay connected, be informed, advance their career, and also to work smarter as well. There's also a lot of decision makers inside there. There's a lot of leaders of today and tomorrow, and there's a lot of professional person that you're looking to target who are actually active on LinkedIn itself. So in Malaysia itself, I think there's about 6 to 7 million users in Malaysia. Based on stats and data, about 40% of them are active on a daily basis. So imagine that 40% of 6 millions of Malaysians, if you're targeting Malaysians professionals, that says a lot. There is huge number there. So let's start, shall we? I really like to talk about the mistakes. Actually, if I were to list down the amount of mistakes that I've seen on LinkedIn when it comes to entrepreneur trying to approach people with sales, I've seen a lot of it. Now, LinkedIn is definitely a native habitat for high performing prospect and leads, guys. The ability for you to reach targeted clients on LinkedIn is really powerful. It is an ideal avenue for entrepreneurs, salespeople to not only generate leads and sales, but it's also a good platform for you to establish your authority as a subject matter expert in your industry within the platform itself. I personally like LinkedIn because, in comparison with a lot of the other social media or social network platform out there, I noticed that the barrier of entry for you to start on LinkedIn is so much easier, and it's so much easier for you to get your results as well in comparison with all the other social media platform out there. I'm not saying the other social media platform is bad. I think that because we use other social media platform as well, but if you are just starting and you have not used social media as one of the ways for you to actually promote yourself, promote your brand, promote product and services, LinkedIn is definitely one of the best place for you to kickstart that journey because the barrier of entry is really, really easy. When I say barrier of entry, what does that mean? I give you one simple example. If you want to be very big on TikTok, and I get it that TikTok is an incredible and a very powerful platform for you to be in. But the barrier of entry for you to actually gain more people to watch and to see what you're doing is so much more difficult in comparison with LinkedIn because number one, you need to create video. That's one barrier of entry itself, right? And for a lot of entrepreneurs, they may not have the time to do it. They may not have the time to generate at least 2 to 3 short form video in one day for you to be able to produce the results consistently. So that's one of the barriers of entry for platforms like Instagram, TikTok, because it requires a lot more effort and work on your side. But when it comes to LinkedIn, you're not bound by creating video. There's a lot of different type of content that you can create. And what we realize is that posting with pictures work tremendously well on LinkedIn, right? So you don't need to create videos. And if you don't have the skills, right, it's like it's going to make it difficult for you to be able to position yourself as an authority in the industry, especially when you don't have time. So that's one of the things that I also really like about LinkedIn. And because of that, it's easier for you to generate visibility on LinkedIn in comparison with all the other platforms. Yeah. So for you to kickstart your journey on LinkedIn, we always recommend that people start with at least 2 to 3 content in a week. In comparison with other social media platforms, you have to do at least 2 content per day. You guys see the difference there, right? Lesser amount of work, but you can get the results and it's highly targeted. That's one of the reasons I really like about LinkedIn. Yeah. Now, LinkedIn is a powerful platform, we get that, but the problem is many entrepreneurs, many salespeople aren't quite sure on how to use LinkedIn, and some might make some mistakes, okay, in doing so. So every time when they try to reach someone on LinkedIn, they either sound really weird, it sounds like a sales pitch, it sounds like they're trying to interrupt people's life, right? And a lot of the time they fail in the first connection itself. I'm going to talk about three main mistakes that I usually notice that people do when they are trying to reach someone on LinkedIn. Now, the first mistake, guys, I want you to write this down. The first number one mistakes that I noticed that a lot of people are doing on LinkedIn is that, write this down. Mistake number one, no proper strategy, no proper framework, right? And basically they just come in and in Bahasa Malaysia, we like to use this word hantam saja. Just do it. It might work in the beginning, but as you go along, it might be difficult for you. So one of the things that you need to understand is that sales today is very different compared to sales 20 years ago. And I used to come from a cold calling contact center experience environment where I usually do about 30, 40 to 50 calls in a day for me to be able to qualify a client and for me to be able to close them. So cold calling for me is a dying art. Why? Because number one, a lot of people nowadays would not be answering your phone if they see a number that they do not know. So it's more difficult for you to do cold calling nowadays. If you really want to do a call, you need to warm them first. And this is something that we can actually do on LinkedIn. The powerful thing about LinkedIn is that you have the ability to warm your client first so that by the time you contacted them or when you reach out to them, they are already receptive to the idea of you wanting to consult them or wanting to give them some advice or trying to close a deal with them. So what I'm going to do in today's session is that I'm going to give you guys like a very simple framework that we teach our students in terms of how to actually generate your sales step by step, all the way from start all the way to the end. So when I talk about this framework, and this is something that I also notice a lot of people do, yeah, you need to understand that every touch point of this framework is really, really important. You underestimate or you neglected any one of this, you might not be able to close the sales. So the first thing that we need to do before you want to make any sales, remember this, objective is as simple as this. You want your clients or your potential clients or your leads to warm up to you by the time you invite them for a meeting. And the biggest mistake that a lot of people do when it comes to the framework is that they skip the whole entire warming up process and they immediately went into inviting people. That's not going to work because, number one, you do not have the permission to sell. There is no permission whatsoever for you to be able to sell to them yet. Rapport has not been given. They don't know you. I don't know if you have experiences before when you go to shopping mall. I always like to see and observe all of these credit card booths where people are trying to get people to sign up for credit cards. They will just approach someone that's coming into the mall and just say, "Hey, would you like to sign up for credit card? Would you like to sign up for credit card?" and all that. So it's very cold, guys. When it's very cold, it's going to be difficult for you to be able to get them to even want to spend time with you. The game right now is how can I get them to want to spend time with me? So it's the pre-prep that is required, right? So you got to do that. You need to have a framework for you to be able to sell to them. So first thing first, guys, and I notice that a lot of people are even not doing this. Their LinkedIn profile is not even optimized. It's not even humanized. Either the profile, it sounds like it looks like you're trying to sell them something. It's not humanized. It's too much jargons. So these are some of the things that we've actually helped our student and also our client to do before they are able to build the authority on LinkedIn. You need to have a clear understanding in terms of your ideal client, who your ideal client is, who is your demographic, your voice, all of that. It will be communicated to your profile. So this is something that you really need to do first. Make sure that your profile is updated. The last thing that you want to do is that you send a friend request to someone and then your LinkedIn profile itself is not being fully utilized yet. I've seen somebody who actually come in and try to invite me to a meeting and they don't even have a LinkedIn profile picture. I would say no to that. So make sure that your LinkedIn profile is fully updated. Okay, that's number one. Number two, right? In terms of the framework, yeah. Step number two that you need to start doing on a daily basis is your prospecting, guys. You need to have a very clear ideal client avatar, and you need to start connecting with people that matters. And this needs to be done on a daily basis. This is an activity that you cannot skip. Daily connections and engagement is something that will help you to increase your visibility and for you to be able to increase the number of leads and also prospect that you have in your arsenal. So you need to be able to connect with people. So if you send a connection request, but at the end of the day, it sounds like you're trying to sell them something, it's not going to work. So you got to network on a daily basis. And once you network with people, another thing that you want to do is to keep them intact and engage with you. And how do you do that? Content. And another thing that I also noticed is this. When it comes to content, a lot of people actually do not have a strategy. I will go back to that because I think this is something that I also want to highlight in terms of the mistakes that people do, right? When it comes to building the authority and also when it comes to trying to get sales on LinkedIn. So content is another thing that you need to do. Then the next thing that you want to do is that you need to find and learn the skill for you to be able to learn and engage with people via chat. The chat and the DMs on LinkedIn is one of the most underestimated device and tool that a lot of people do not know how to do or how to use, right? So guys, the thing is when you are creating content, what you want to do, sorry about that, is that you want to learn to bring that conversation from the content into a direct messaging. From the direct messaging, another thing that you need to do after that is to use direct messaging as a method and a way for you to be able to build rapport, qualify your clients, and at the same time, the third thing that you need to do is to invite them, right? So there is a proper method and ways for you to invite people for a meeting. You won't be able to do it on the first try, guys. The game in sales is in the follow-up. Let me repeat that again. The game in sales is in the follow-up. The more follow-up you do, the more consistent you are in your follow-up, the better the opportunity and the chances for you to be able to close your deal. Okay? So at the end of the day, before you want to invite them for a call, for a meeting, for a one-on-one consultation, either via Zoom or via a presentation, you need to be able to learn to engage and qualify them on the chat first. And once you have done that, the last thing that you want to do, right, is to be able to learn the skill and also to have the ability for you to be able to close the deal on the spot and also deliver the product and services that you've already promised them. These are the framework, guys. It's a very simple framework to learn. As simple as it is, a lot of people do not know that each of these process is important, and each of this process on its own matters in terms of you being able to get the clients to want to have a meeting for you, right? So, guys, learn this, right? Take a picture of this, and this is basically the step-by-step framework for you to be able to move people from point A to point Z. It's not just about spamming people with messaging, but it's also about getting people to go to the client acquisition process. So that is mistake number one. Next thing that I want to talk about, what are the other mistakes that I noticed that people are doing on LinkedIn? Number two, a lot of people like to send out generic emails and DMs to the masses using bots and automation system. Now, I have no issue with automation. I'm going to say that out loud, guys. I have no issue with automation. Okay. But you also have to understand that everything that you do on LinkedIn, there's consequences for it. Number one, when it comes to automation on LinkedIn, if you use any of these tools where you are spamming them with messages, people might report you and your account might be barred. So that's the last thing that you want to do. You do not want to put your effort down into the dustbin because you built so much work and effort in terms of building your brand on LinkedIn. And then you start using all of this automation tool where you just spam them with a standard templates of message to everyone, hoping that people would want to connect with you. Not going to work. The biggest mistake that people do when it comes to direct messaging or sending emails is that they are not sending a personalized message. They are treating the person who they're sending the message to not as a person, but as someone that they want to sell to. What to do instead? Rather than just sending a templated message to everyone and just basically focus on volume, I would suggest that you focus on the quality of message. And one of the things that I always encourage people to do is to look into maybe 10 to 15 people for them to connect on a daily basis, send a connection request, and personalize the connection request. People don't like it when you are just sending them templates because it says a lot. It says that you don't care about them. So send a personalized message to people when you're connecting to people and spend time to really learn about the person first and build rapport for you to understand the person first before you want to sell them something. Just like dating, guys, simple stuff. I don't know how you guys do it, but for me, when you're going out for a first date, it's never about you first, especially for all guys. Guys, when you go for the first date, don't talk so much about you. Try to figure out more about your partner, the person that you ask for a date, right? Because then only they will open up. If you want people to open up, focus on the person first and stop sending all of this sales pitch on the first message, right? Stop doing all this spam. Spam doesn't work. It's going to actually kill your reputation in the market as well. People will basically not like it when you do that. Just through the first message itself, you already lost them already. Third thing that I really want to highlight, and I think this is really important. I notice a lot of people are treating LinkedIn as just a one-way conversation platform. You need to understand you are using a social media platform and a social networking platform for you to be able to generate leads and sales. If you're creating content and you're just posting the content without any engagement, there's a lost opportunity there. So one of the things that I noticed that people are creating content, but they're not engaging with the people that's commenting on their content. So you want to stop doing that. You want to create content, but you want to create content in such a way that you use that as a conversation starter. So don't just create and post for the sake of posting, but you want to use that opportunity for you to create a post so that you can actually start the conversation. And when you start doing that, it will help you to be seen as someone that is quite friendly. That's number one. And also at the same time, it helps you to be able to engage with potential clients. And this is something that I encourage people to do. So it's not just about the posting, guys. It's also about the engagement in your posting. So learn to treat LinkedIn not just as a one-way platform for you to just post stuff and create content, but learn to have engagement with everyone that's connected to you. Either they are liking your content or not. Either if they are liking your content, great. For me, that's an opportunity. If they like your content, DM them and ask them, hey, thank you for liking my content. Get to know them, guys. A lot of people don't do this. They don't spend time to network and mingle. Okay? If they are liking your content, they are commenting on it, comment back, have conversation with them, and continue the conversation on the direct messaging. So this is really, really important. And I think a lot of you guys stop doing all of these three things and start doing what I recommended you to do. It would definitely help you to generate more leads, more sales, and slowly it will help you to build your authority as the subject matter expert on LinkedIn as well. Basically, that's it. It's as simple as that. Okay. The three mistakes. Let me summarize the three mistakes again. Number one, you do not have a framework or strategy in terms of converting leads and clients on LinkedIn. Basically, you're just doing it blindly. So I've already shown you the framework for you to bring conversation from start all the way until closing. Second mistake that I notice that people are doing is that they do not have a proper method to connect with people and they start spamming people instead. So that's mistake number two. Mistake number three, what I notice people are doing is that they are not treating LinkedIn as a social media, a social networking platform. So whenever they are posting content, whenever they are just putting up stuff on LinkedIn, then after that, there's no interaction, there's no engagement. That's a lost opportunity over there. So guys, stop doing that and start engaging, start interacting. Remember this, that you are now in the era of sales 2.0, where engagement, connections matters. Start doing that, and perhaps you will be able to generate more leads and sales via LinkedIn. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a good night. Bye.